Hi guys, Saki with another Command & Conquer Red Alert video. In this game I'm playing a 2v2 match on the map Rivers Wild. I'm standing in the top right position playing as the Allies. Now in this game I'm playing with a person who's quite new to the remastered version. He has played in the past, he said he'd played on the old games, so he knows what he's doing, but he hasn't had this version of the game very long. So we'll see how this goes. What I'm doing first of all is I'm getting some infantry out, getting a bit of scouting done. We're in set positions so I know where my opponents are, but I just need to make sure all the entry points to my base, the main ones, are blocked because I don't want them to see what I'm doing. I'm in a really good spot in terms of ore because I've got ore below my base, I've got ore above my base, and you can just see there with my infantry as they run past some of the certain points, some of the bottlenecks. I'm just making sure this on standby in case any scouts tend to go through. I'm sending others to go further forward so I can get as much of the map uncovered as possible because I want to be able to see what my opponents are doing and just have some pre-warning if I'm going to get attacked. And I'm going for quite a high risk strategy here because I'm playing with someone who's fairly new at the game. If I do end up, because I haven't played with this player at all, so I don't know how good he is, but if I do end up like sort of in a situation where I'm having to fight two opponents, I'm not going to be able to win if I just play by my normal game against the people I'm playing against. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go multi-MCV, which is very risky because it's going to put me at a disadvantage early on, but it can really pay off because it just allows you to expand so much more quickly. And then even if you lose an MCV, a construction yard, you still got other ones available. So that's just what I'm going to be trying to do with this game. And it's like quite high risk if you're playing against two opponents. One might go for the dive your buildings. And if you only have a single MCV and you lose that, then you're sort of screwed. So that's what I'm going for this game. As I say, it's quite risky because early on it's going to mean I'm a lot weaker. And there goes my first MCV, so I'm just going to deploy that. And that's going to increase my building speed. And one thing to do is just pause your building and then keep on building, just so it gets the quicker building speed. And you can see that ore refinery now building twice as fast. And now that I've got a third MCV out, it's going to build even faster. It just keeps on increasing every time you get an extra MCV, as long as aftermath units are switched off, which they are. And now I'm getting out my medium tanks. I'm not going to be going on the attack early on, of course, because I've got like limited tanks. And my opponent should have more tanks at this stage in the game than I do. And you can see I'm also struggling a little bit for funds because when you build faster, it's great because you can get your buildings out quicker, but you also use up your resources more quickly, and that's why I'm struggling quite a bit at the moment, although I've just gotten some gems, so now you can see I'm just shooting up to 3k resources. I'm also looking at that gem patch to the left of my base, which will give me some quick money, but before that I'm going to build a radar dome just so I can see what's going on over the map. And you can see I've got like reasonable like visibility at least, so those scouts did a decent job early on. I'm also going to be building another MCV after I've built a few more tanks, and I'm getting my third war factory out, which is going to mean I'm going to be able to produce tanks faster, well, any vehicles for that matter. And now I'm just gonna sort of like fill in a few of the blanks. I can also see some red movement though at the top of the map, and they might be trying to go around the back, so I'm just placing that ore refinery down there, and we're gonna have a little take our tanks up to the top part of the map and see what's gonna go on there. I'm also just trying to improve my economy as much as possible because you can see once again I'm quite low on ore, and now we can see those light tanks coming across the top of the map. So red light tanks there. At least we've got quite a few ore refineries up there, and you can see they're actually maybe going for my ally, but I've managed to take out some of them, and now I think they're actually going from our base. Just putting some precautionary pillboxes down just to act as a deterrent, and I think this is going to go ahead no problem. And what I'm going to also do is I'm going to take my newly created MCV to the top left of the map, where now we can see that Cyan is coming up the middle of the map, and we're going to have to try and meet him. I'm also just placing a few more pillboxes down and just keeping an eye on that MCV that I'm taking across. Now we'll have to see where Cyan intends to go. He seems to be actually going towards the left of the map, so I don't know whether he's seen my MCV and decided to follow it. You can see some red tanks trickling into my base, and now we can see that red has established a base in that position as well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make some pillboxes, and we can see that Cyan's turned around now and he's going to my base. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and create some pillboxes and some turrets to destroy those enemy tanks, because he's got a war factory there, which is going to have increased his building speed. He's going for my MCV, and unfortunately I'm out of funds, so I couldn't build quite as many defences as I wanted to. But now Cyan's in my base. I'm trying to defend against this, and you can see he's managed to destroy some of my construction yards, but I've still got one left essentially, and then my ally comes in with some heavy tanks to provide a bit of support, and you can see Cyan now having to pull back because he's lost a lot of tanks. But at the top of the map you can also see that red is coming across once again. He's got a mix of light and medium tanks. Now that I've got base defences, I do think medium tanks are the better choice for the time being. So let's engage this fight, and yeah, yet again you can see that red's trying to push in, but I've got the better tank numbers and I'm going to get quite a good engagement here. And you can see my teammate coming in to provide a bit of support. I've also just building oil refineries and trying to build up my economy again. And now we're just trying to take out these light and medium tanks while they're quite stationary. And you can see Cyan is going to the top left of the map, the very top left. So I don't know whether he's trying to sort of like have a sneak attack. And I'm thinking that might be the case, so I'm going to go right across the top. You can see my ally going towards red's base, and now you can see that Cyan has backed out of it. He's decided that's not such a good idea, and I'm going to kill some of his tanks that are coming through there. Some easy kills for me, and just whittling down that tank force. But what we're going to do is going to take out this outer base. But what I can see now is Cyan is starting to head back to my base, so I'm going to have to take my tanks back and just build some more defences, but we just have to keep on building, that's the thing. You can see the red's going straight past there, but being held up, and now Cyan coming in. He's got quite a few tanks there, and my tanks are a little bit out of position, but I am getting them back ASAP. It's just doing damage limitation. He's destroyed one oil refinery. It looks like the other oil refinery at the bottom of my base is going to be destroyed, which means my oil trucks are going to be long distance mining. And now it looks like he's going to be going for that MCV. And yeah, that's going to go down. There's no way I'm going to be able to save that. But am I going to be able to save the other one? I've got most of my tanks back now, and I don't think that Cyan has the numbers, and that MCV is safe for now. And what I'm doing as a precaution is I'm building more MCVs just in case I get another attack and that last MCV goes down, so that those extra MCVs really paying off there. And you can see now Cyan's got some just a few tanks around, just waiting around my oil refineries, trying to take out some of my oil trucks. And I'm just going to take that one. And also he's got another tank there, just trying to take out that construction yard, but that construction yard's going to be safe now. And you can see that I've got my extra MCVs out, so I'm going to be able to deploy them, and I am safe. And now we're going to go on the counter attack. So you can see that green has a big army also, and we can see these Cyan trucks travelling quite a distance. And I think what that means is that your nearest base is used up. You can see that red is coming from the left of the map. He's sort of gone in quite a bit of a bottleneck though. So if he tries to go through there, it's going to be he's going to be at a disadvantage. And now we can see that Cyan is coming from the right side, so we'll fight there. And I think we're going to probably go for Cyan's base first. And now I've just moved my MCV up to the top left of the map. I'm going to take that spot and start putting oil refineries down just to increase my economy even more, even though you can see actually it's a bit pointless at the moment because I've got quite a lot of ore stacked up. But now we're on the attack. We're going further south and going to go for the attack on Cyan's base, which is there. And you can see at the same time my teammate is going for the attack on red's base. And in this position it looks like we're going to have not too many problems. You can see red trying to go for an attack on my outer base. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place some turrets down. I'm also sending some tanks across just to take care of that. while my army's in Cyan's base, doing some destruction. You can see down red, bringing in a few more tanks. We'll have to see, is he going to be able to get that last oil refinery down? That's going to be a bit annoying if he does, but I think we're going to be just able to manage to save it. Not that close in the end, and I'm going to need some extra power for those turrets. And now we're going to go back to Cyan's base. And we can see there's not much you can do here. We've got too many tanks. He doesn't have enough. And we're just going to sort of clear up here. And you can also see that Red's base is almost destroyed by my teammate as well. So he went for an attack on my top left base. But as he was doing that, Green, my teammate, was destroying his base. Now in this game, what happened is our opponents were very aggressive early on, and they went for the base diving strategy where you try and dive into your opponent's base and take out all the key buildings like construction yards, war factories and ore refineries. The problem with that strategy sometimes, and in this case because I had multi-MCVs it made it a bit harder for them, is that if you don't take out all the tactical buildings, then what's going to happen is your tanks numbers are going to decrease while your opponents keeps on growing, and that's what happened in this game. Me and my ally, we kept on growing our tank numbers throughout the game, whereas our opponents were diving in with tanks and just losing so many in those early attacks and not doing enough damage to my base. So I was able to just keep on producing and ended up with a massive army. And there you can see my teammate going for the last buildings of Red. So for the base diving strategy to be effective, you do have to take out all the main tactical buildings. If the opponent still has construction yards, war factories or refineries left, then it's not going to work too well. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video.